Do, 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 do. Ah. All right. Welcome back, everyone. It's been a week already. Crazy week we've been having. Um, Gonna wait a little minute longer. See some more people joining before I get into it. I hope everyone had a great week, even though we had let's call it a volatile week, strange week. But yeah, I think if we're prepared and we're following our plans, then I think it's been a good week. I had some pretty good spot buys trigger because I had them set. I had set limit orders on them, and yeah, basically stress-free week. Busy in other things, but not having to watch the charts all the time is yeah. I still think that's a good thing. Just I was pleasantly surprised today that a few of my limit sells actually triggered as well. So a few a little bit of profit going into the weekend. Yeah, I think it's a good thing, especially considering where we started this week, because I thought that we would see a much bigger correction happen after the first correction happened. And yeah, I think we're pretty stable. We're still pretty sideways. And we can see it in the total crypto market cap. We can see it in multiple things, of course. But the total crypto market cap, I think last week was around 3.5. So yeah, it's down, but it's not down a huge amount. It's relatively small considering. I think the altcoins took the brunt of it rather than Bitcoin itself. Like if we're looking at ETH 20 down, XRP 20 down, Solana down. These are comparatively very big numbers. Great buying opportunities though, or buying prices. And I'm more into spot and holding. I do leverage trade, but mostly in euphoric times. So when we're all super bullish, markets going up, I don't like shorting because it feels counterintuitive. So I'm usually only focused on longs. Yeah, all is well with me. I hope everything's well with you as well. But yeah, I'm mostly focused on longs because yeah, it's a mental thing, I suppose, because prices going up, profits going up. I'm more comfortable trading that. But more in euphoric times and when I have more time to monitor and watch charts. And I've been super busy lately with work, my side jobs, side gigs, managing some stuff here and there, uh, getting a new car, getting rid of the old car. So all that stuff adds up and eats into the time. So I'm just not leverage trading due to lack of time, but putting in my limit orders on my spot trades and buying and holding, selling little bits of when profits are to be made. Uh, that I can easily set and forget. And I've been calling it the stress-free approach to trading, and I stand by it. I think it's a very good thing, especially for, I suppose, beginners in trading, because new people new to crypto and trading in general tend to get dive headfirst into the leverage trading before they're actually fully aware of what they're doing. And I think the spot way is a good way to build your profit and start trading on the side of that. So not with your main portfolio, but just with a smaller portion of it. 1x is it could be a derivative. So you're not actually buying the asset, you're just trading the asset, if that makes sense. On some exchanges, you hold the coin with 1x as well, but usually you're trading a derivative like a CFD. If you know what a CFD is, CFD is a contract for difference. So on some stock exchanges, or stock exchanges which feature Bitcoin, but not actual Bitcoin. They allow you to trade on the value of the asset. So eToro, for example, used to offer Bitcoin CFDs. So you could trade Bitcoin before they actually sold actual Bitcoin, but they allowed, basically you're trading a piece of paper that says this is worth 1 Bitcoin. That would be a CFD, and that a 1x could be similar to that as well. But 1x is not leverage, so you're not, or at least not as much at risk of liquidation and stuff like that. And keep the questions coming, guys. Like if you want to know anything else, feel free, about the merger, about the markets, about my, well, I'm gonna get into it, but into my forecast, my prediction. I'm gonna talk some news. So let me. I just realized I've been talking without actually sharing my screen, so that's pretty stupid of me. But give me 1 second. That's the one. There we go. That's that. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, it's been a long day for me. I've been in audits all day, so yeah, forgive me if I'm a little tired. I think we can go a lot lower, actually. I'm not saying we will, but I think we can, and I'm preparing for it as we speak. So I'll explain it a little bit while it was the topic of today's video for me. That's what I meant. So I was talking about the total crypto market cap. We're still above 3. I think we can go below 3, and we're seeing a little small, well, I won't say a pump, but a little bit of a correction up this time. But you can see we're in this fair area. And if we zoom in and look on that fear and greed index, you can see basically anytime we hit that, we revert up. We see a bigger move up. But the global, let's say the bigger direction is still down. Similar to a candle chart, you can sort of read it as like a candle chart. So yeah, we can see a bit of a rise, but I think we're going to go lower, and this is a bit more choppy water, so to say. So we are in fear. We could easily shoot further down. I'm thinking we'll see a little bit of a move back up into some euphoria, and then we shoot further down. And if we look at my spaghetti of a chart on BitUnix, so basically these little blue circles are my last few buys, but this is sort of what I'm expecting to happen. I'm thinking we could breach a new all-time high, even because we have so much volatility, so much volume in the markets. I'm looking at Bitcoin now, but altcoins tend to follow this chart. So I'll grab Ethereum in a little bit. You can see you could basically overlay them. Only the percentages tend to differ, but as we saw in that fear and greed index, we're a little down. Like, think of it as a rubber band that's been pulled down. And yeah, we'll shoot a little up. We'll see a little correction. We've been seeing it today. We rejected on my last green line here, but we're still overall in profit. So today is still a green day. We could breach that further upwards. I'm thinking something euphoric is about to happen. Like last year, the last few years, the end of February, beginning of March, have been very bullish months. We've seen big price pumps, big movements up. So if we look, it's my trading view chart. I always have 2 charts, by the way, but we can see February, March, green months. And February, March, we see big green months. And I'm expecting something similar to happen because Bitcoin and crypto tend to be they're still very impressionable, and people are impressionable, and people tend to look back at history, and so history tends to repeat itself. So paired with possibly some market manipulation, we will see a move up, but I think we are long overdue for a big correction down. And I'm kind of hoping that we see that happen, because I want to buy cheaper. I want to buy more cheaper. I'm at a better place financially than I was during these times. I was remodeling my house through these years, so I wasn't able to buy as much crypto as I wanted. So yeah, I would be glad to see Bitcoin around the 50, 60K again. Obviously, that's not for everyone, but this is also where our spot buys protect us. If we keep doing our little spot buys, there's no risk of liquidation. We just keep holding our assets, so we can buy all the way down. And if we do go back up and breach new all-time highs, then we're in massive, massive profit at, well, I won't say no risk, but at very little risk, especially if we believe crypto in the future will be worth much more than it is now. And if you understand economics a little bit, with inflation happening in markets all over the world, all financial markets, then it's pretty much a given that in 10 years, all sustainable assets will be worth more money. So the more money we put in now, the more it will be worth later. So the better we buy now, it magnifies over the years, if that makes sense. So downside isn't always bad. If you're leverage trading, then yeah, this would be a very, I think it's too risky at this currently. So it is risky to keep crypto on exchanges. It kind of depends on what exchange, but the best move would be to get your crypto off of exchanges, put it in your personal wallet. And I have a video on this, but I actually have a wallet structure. So I have, I'll just grab the brush here real quick. Let's go. So I have a personal wallet structure. I have a main wallet, and that wallet, I call it Fort Knox. This wallet, nobody interacts with this. Nobody. Only me and my sub wallet. So I have a main wallet, and I have a smaller wallet underneath it. And then, crap, that's not what I wanted to do. I have a main wallet underneath it, and then let's say, where is the brush? There's the brush. So let's say I have a sub wallet, I have a main wallet, and then I have some trading wallets. Then I have an exchange wallet. I have another exchange wallet. I have another exchange wallet. And then we have, I don't know, OpenSea for some NFTs. And they interact with that wallet. And I have a small little sub wallet for risky connections. So if I have to connect to, I don't know, a sketchy website, something I don't trust, I create a one-time wallet, a throwaway wallet, burner wallet, and I put the exact amount of money on it I want to trade. I put it in, and if it's hacked, or if the contract is compromised or whatever, I throw away the key, I forget about it, and I go back to this wallet. And I've replaced this wallet as well. So I have wallet 1, which is the Fortress. I have my sub wallet, and then we have trading wallets, or some Telegram wallets, because Telegram has been integrated nowadays with trading bots or auto buys or whatever. Then we have an exchange number 1, exchange number 2, exchange number 3, and let's call it OpenSea or whatever. I don't do a lot of NFT trading. I never really did, because I was late to them, and I thought they were a huge scam, which they kind of are. But this is pretty much how I structure my trades. So if I have an exchange, and let's say I have $1,000 on this, and I want to move that, I want to keep that safe. I have Bitcoin on it, and exchanges get hacked all the time. They lose their funds, customer funds, or they go bankrupt. Or they are pretty much Ponzi schemes like FTX and Celsius, or go bankrupt like BlockFi. Uh, I just move it to number two. The number two moves it to number one, and it's safe. And it's also the reason why I don't use a ledger, because if you use a hot wallet similarly to this structure and you never interacted with anything else, I personally think it's just as safe as a ledger, because if they get your 12 words to your ledger, they can take it off anyway. And the secret phrase is the key, and if they have the key, they'll just take it off your ledger as well. So it's a little bit of a misconception, I think, on ledgers. But yeah, I advise anyone to do this. Make as many wallets as you want. And it's one of the mistakes a lot of people make. They have one wallet, use it for everything. And once it's compromised, all you can do is watch how they pull out all your crypto, all your funds, all your money, and you basically get to start over. And that sucks. And it really sucks. I've seen people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars because simply they connected to a fake website or a scam website or a scam contract. And all you can, once the keys are leaked, once they have access, all you can do is watch how they pull out everything. So this is I think this is the structure to use. I have one exception. I use an exchange, a Dutch exchange, and they're insured, and they have a banking license. And I hold quite a big portion of my holdings on it, also because it makes that easier to trade. So if something dips, I have immediate funds at the ready. So I mainly use that one. But I like BitUnix a lot. So I've been contemplating starting a position on or through BitUnix, or at least more actively trading on BitUnix. But then again, I'm lacking the time to do it. And that's kind of the hurdle I'm at right now, is finding more time. But with the time I do have, I'm trying to make as much YouTube videos as I can, and trying to develop that as well, and do some more side jobs. And so it's not time lost, I suppose, but just wish I'd have more time to trade. Bitcoin shortages on exchanges. So I actually, I can't disclose everything, but I actually talk to a lot of people connected to exchanges, and I know the shortages are real. There are shortages on a lot of exchanges, and they actively want more Bitcoin. They want to find more reliable sources of Bitcoin, and it's tough. It's becoming more scarce, and realistically, for us, that's a good thing. For us as traders, that's a very, very good thing, because the more we hold, the more we hold the keys to the kingdom. Because any exchange wants to trade it, and I'm spitballing here. I have no idea if this is true, but like I said, Bitcoin CFDs, I expect to see a lot more of that happening in the future. People trading Bitcoin without actually holding Bitcoin, simply because it's not as available anymore. And like with anything that's being sold, scarcity drives up the price. So the less there's available of it, the more it technically should be worth. And I expect that to happen. I'll grab my. I wanted to talk about some latest news stuff. And let's see where it is. I saw it a little bit. Oh, yeah. Iran CEO, Bitcoin will beat gold in terms of market cap by 2030, reaching $1 million price. Now, this sounds unrealistic, but it's not as unrealistic as you would think, because a $1 million price, and it's basically at 100,000 currently, so that would be a 10x. This could happen very well if you look at the market caps. So the entire value of all gold mined, ever mined, or in gold, 13.7 trillion, 1.8 trillion. Well, let's call them equal. It's a little bit more, but this would effectively mean a 10x for Bitcoin. And 13.7 trillion isn't that much if you're thinking that the global financial markets hold around 404 trillion. So, like 404 trillion, 3 trillion. So that's fundamentally it's possible if if the world basically starts accepting Bitcoin as a financial market, as a accepted financial market, rather than a crypto market or something separate. And we're seeing this more and more. We're seeing more like Bitcoin ETF inflow. Uh, Crap, I closed it, but we're seeing more and more global adoption, more and more companies trying to get a piece of it. Um, I like this quote: "Stop thinking like a trader, start thinking like a bank." Uh, I actually like thinking of yourself as a company. Like, every decision I make, I try to reflect on myself. Like, is this good for uh, Investing Frankly Incorporated? Is this good for my business, for my revenue, my monthly income? Is this a good thing? Can I grow on this? Is it worth spending time on it? Time equals money in some cases, but this is something that's why I like the quote. But like Bitcoin allocation plan, I read somewhere that the Czech Republic is actually uh, removing what's it called, like the tax on Bitcoin. If you hold Bitcoin, if you have like $100,000 capital gains, I forgot the word, capital gains tax. So Czech Republic is removing capital gains on Bitcoin. Now this sounds like a random tidbit of info, but this is actually very, very good development, because that entire country, if they have savings, which they have to pay tax on, they could easily, if they could move it to Bitcoin, grab more of the increase in value over time, and not pay taxes on it. If this was the Netherlands, I live in the Netherlands. If this was the Netherlands, I would move everything I have into Bitcoin straight away, or at least move it into Bitcoin over time. Buy things that appreciate or produce passive income, or both. Exactly. This is also what I do with my stock portfolio. I have a dividend stock portfolio, and it's also aimed at growth. So the asset value itself grows over time. So I had like a 16% gain last year, but on top of that, I also gained 6 to 7% in cash. So I get cash deposited to my dividend account every month. Sometimes quarterly, sometimes yearly, but most of them monthly. I even had one that which paid out weekly. was Wasn't a huge amount, but it was still. You get cash deposited to your account every month or every week, and I funnel that straight back in. So your account's growing without you having to sell a stock or anything. Basically, comparable to staking on crypto, or staking is comparable to dividends, basically. Thirsty. But yeah, it's basically the same thing what I try to do with all my time and investments. And even I want to, on my time, I invest in stuff that I want to get a return on, or try to get a return on. Obviously, not everything is about money, but um, yeah, I like building your own YouTube channel, for example. It takes a lot of time, but I like doing it. And also, you have to like the things you do, otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere. But yeah, I like building a YouTube channel. I like it a lot more than I expected I would, actually. Um, but I like talking to people like this, and yeah, in the end, it expands my own knowledge, because it's also pushing me to interact with other people, other YouTubers, learning more about them, their investment strategies, their way of thinking. Uh, I do more research, and it gives me structure. So even that is a gain for me, if I'm making sense. Oh yeah, what I also wanted to talk about, like if we look, that's the wrong chart. So what I'm thinking, what will happen, I can clear these lines now because it's looking a little. Yeah. So if we look at Bitcoin, this Bitcoin over the monthly, so Bitcoin through 2017 till now, after each of these moves up, we've seen big corrections down. Obviously, this history doesn't go back as far because it's USDT, not USD. But if we basically overlay this to that, or it's a two-step. Let's put it there at that first correction. I mean, we can see that that tends to repeat. And it hasn't here because this is basically the Trump era. But this is what I'm expecting will happen. So we would end up with something like this. And that would be roughly sorry, a 25% drop from where we are now. Crap. Bear with me, guys. So that's the downside of using your phone as a camera. Once people start calling and keep calling, eventually they go through your do not disturb filter. So sorry about that, but we're back. But what I was talking about, I'm thinking we see a correction like this. So still 25% on Bitcoin further down. And that's what I'm also expecting. So that would be roughly this level, between the 80 and 70. And if we look, I can't do that maximized. Let's do this. If we look at Ethereum, well, I was going to say it looks exactly the same, but it's a little choppier, I suppose. But we also see that big wick down, that big candle. If you guys can see it. There. We also see that big candle down on that daily chart, and it has recovered, not as much, which is something I did not really expect, that the altcoins would start to differ from Bitcoin that much. But I suppose Bitcoin has been receiving a lot more of the positive news. So Bitcoin it's definitely the Bitcoin's time to shine. We have not had an alt season comparable to it. I do not think we will have one very soon, but I do think like the bigger altcoins, Ethereum, AVAX, Solana, Sui, possibly Caspa, I think they definitely have a future. I just think it's not their time, which makes it a good investment at this price for me. I'm not sure if you all agree on that, but that's my personal vision of that. But if we can we check the monthly? So it's a little more dreary. Let's grab it on TradingView because I think that represents it better. There we go. So I actually drew those lines a while back. So if we do see that happening, I see Ethereum going back to these levels. And we already breached this one. This is another buy of mine that got triggered. So these are levels that I usually tend to buy. Basic support and resistance levels, or even naked price action, not using any lines at all. Let's clear them out, actually. Remove them. There we go. So I'm thinking Ethereum could actually, it could easily go back down to these levels. And yeah, it differs from Bitcoin a little bit, but not as much. It's still following the same lines, actually, but it's just magnified. It's just bigger. But I'm expecting a short move up and then further down, and that's where I'll be buying more. That's where I'm looking for. I do think we will close out the year higher than the current all-time high, depending if global war breaks out. Not, but it's looking like it's starting to wind down and possibly more positive news forming, or I don't know, basically maybe even trade relations get repaired with Russia by the end of the year. I think that's very optimistic. I don't think that will happen, but let's say that happens, it could push it further up. I'm thinking there is positive news coming. It may not seem like it, but I think through all the crazy stuff happening, I think we are less war, basically. So yeah, we're past our half hour. If anyone has any final questions, feel free to ask them. I can answer them still. And yeah, that was basically my vision for this week, at least, and that's where I'm looking at what will happen and what I will do. Yeah, this is the article. I still had it open on a different tab. The Czech Republic passes crypto-friendly law, exempts Bitcoin from capital gains. I think that's massive good news, actually. I actually did not read if it's also it held more than 3 years. Not as positive as I thought it was, but still pretty positive. And non-business. So that's what I was wondering, like if it's for businesses as well, because if it's for businesses, then yeah, it would make sense for every business to hold as much of their extra reserves in Bitcoin. But that could also change, like this could be the first step to their crypto adoption. And it's not just this country. There's more countries and people trying to pass this off, trying to focus their adoption. All right. Well, if there's no further questions, I'm not seeing any come in, actually. So if there's no further questions, then yeah, I'm going to close out the stream for this week. And I'd love to see you all again next week. I think, like I said, I like doing these streams. So yeah, I'm eager to do one next week. And if you have any questions, like feel free to ask me during the week, or I'll try to just add me and I'll try to talk about it in the stream. And yeah, if that's it, and I'm gonna say have a great weekend, guys, and yeah, be careful out there, and see you all.